Oh, he's gone again.
Crap. Oh well.
What you got there?
What? It's a bus ticket, I think.
Really?
Yeah. Take a look.
Oh.
What? What?
Hold on, I'm sure I've got... Let me just...
Thanks.
Oh, you want to hold on to this? You want to frame this, mate? And if we do ever get back to the real world, you want to nip down to Christie's with that. You know what this is?
What?
That's a genuine bus ticket from First Buses, Eastern Counties, from 1932, which was the last time First Buses, Eastern Counties, were on time.
Yep. Sounds about right.
Maybe Movies! Welcome back to Maybe Movies, where we get our grubby mitts on wonderful films and do nefarious things with them.
Indeed.
Like pizza on pineapple.
Pizza on pineapple?
That came out wrong! Oh, God. Thank you for pointing out my mistake. Hello, my name's Max.
Oh, I am Sam Jazzhands.
I hope you all had a wonderful, wonderful Halloween. Although it does appear that we are still very much in a Halloween wonderland at the moment, which is never a bad thing.
No, it's a bit of spooky is always good.
So, first off, we have to go with the poll result.
Oh, the poll.
So, for last month, as you know, we were looking at the Black Hole and Event Horizon, and we spent a wonderful month with our good friend Shane from the All You Need Is Blood podcast, and we made the Event Hole and Black Horizon. From our various polls, now I do have to give a huge apology here. If you had voted on our story on the Maybe Movies Facebook page, still getting used to using some of this stuff on the Meta suite, which they keep changing, and you need to switch on the archives for your stories, which I didn't know about. I've got no way of going back and checking if anyone did vote, so I do apologise.
Oopsie.
Yeah. But if you saw the episodes, then you'll know that at the end of it, we voted 2-1. We had a grand total of 5 votes from our various polls.
Okay.
So we had 4 votes on Twitter and 1 on Insta.
Okay.
The 1 on Insta was for Black Horizon,
Okay.
which brought us level pegging. And from Twitter, it was 3-1 Black Horizon.
I guess you win. Well, there we go.
So, yes, Black Horizon is our Maybe Movies 3rd Halloween spooktacular. And it's right here. You're probably wondering what we're looking at this month, although if you'd seen the finale, you might have an idea. I think the excessive green might give it away.
Tiny hint.
Especially the green with bits.
With bits, because that's what you need.
Yes. So this is, again, it's actually going to roll this into our shout-out for today as well. This is for Jen from JenX Official. Jen is a wonderful supporter of ours from the States, who's a musician, a flagrant cat lover.
Nothing wrong with that.
And also a fragrant Welsh speaker.
More multilingual than myself, then.
I didn't realise why she's kind of got into speaking Welsh is she'd had to have quite sort of major brain surgery a few years ago.
Uh-huh.
And one of the things that she's found that's helping her cope and recover, there's something about the Welsh language that just clicks for her.
Hey, if it works.
As part of the reason why we're doing the shout out for Jen today is because this is the first of our first audience suggestion.
It is, and thank you so much for this.
Yes. Do you want to go first?
So, the first part of our pairing is from the Omen trilogy. Specifically, Damien Omen 2.
Which Jen thought, I know, this would work perfectly well with Soylent Green.
Huh?
If you've never seen Soylent Green, this is one of those ones where I think in addition to the spoilers button, we're going to have to say there will be fragrance. I'm confusing fragrant and flagrant.
I know.
There will be excessive spoilers.
Oh yes, absolutely will.
So
Yeah.
do go and watch this before you go and watch this.
Oh, absolutely. That's a movie that lives and dies on its ending, so go and watch it first before we spoil it for you.
Absolutely. I do have one other very quick shout out to do as well. It's both a shout out and it's also a thank you as well. This is just for all of the doctors and nurses and all of the staff at the Glenfield Hospital in Leicester, where my brother is recovering at the moment. From myself, from all of my family, thank you very much. He's still here because of you. Thank you.
Thanks, folks. Bob, how are we going to do this, Bob?
Well, I had a bit of a eureka moment last night.
Oh, really? Okay, so because I have no clue.
Before we come to that, though, I did make down a sudden note here, which I didn't realise. Or when I obviously I always check when it comes to editing for copyright things, for B-roll, things like that.
Uh-huh.
So I had to double check who made them, and oh dear. Although, looking at the way things are at the moment, it's not a surprise, because that was made by Fox. So Disney owns the Antichrist.
Of course Disney owns the Antichrist. Of course they do. Fuck you, Disney.
Fuck you. I had a bit of an epiphany moment for how we would do the new version of The Omen 2 with Charlton Heston. I'm guessing that's what we're going for. We're going to swap Charlton Heston for William Holden.
Well, in terms of characters, they're both men in power, called Thorn, and are in some ways the protagonist of our story. So that's the logical swap to make. Changes a bunch of shit, though.
Well, I had an idea. Again, I had a possible setup for The Omen 2. Because the way that we've always done this as well, we can't really have William Holden in both films.
At one point I thought, could there be a third brother who's a detective? But then no, then we've got him in both movies, and we're starting to break things down at this point.
I think I've solved the problem.
Well, okay. Enlighten me, please.
The film would start with a funeral. The funeral is the death of Richard Thorne.
So he's in the movie, but he's not in the movie.
Exactly.
Okay, all right.
There's a question mark over how he died, and obviously the Thorne being such it's a multinational company, they have a public image to maintain. Well, we need somebody who's going to just find out what they want them to know. Because don't forget, by this point, if he's gone, that means his wife who's in on it, everybody or people working at the company, some of them obviously are in on it, are in Damien's camp, shall we say.
So this is not so much Damien Omen 2 as it is like a fictional Omen 3? Or is it Omen 2 but where some stuff has happened off screen?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But yeah,
all right, for the sake of argument.
Yeah, so they're going to want to make sure that any kind of investigation into this goes their way. Therefore, what they do is there's a distant cousin who works as a cop in New York who's a little bit shady. Can we buy him to come and report on this? I mean, if we need to, we can move him to Chicago.
I was going to say it makes more sense for him to be, because then he's got jurisdiction.
Exactly. Yeah. I was just trying to see if we could keep that part of it, so that they kind of dropped him in, but it makes more sense. So then it becomes almost like a redemption arc. Kind of like it is in this anyway.
Yeah, so he's that kind of sleazy cop that he is.
Yeah.
In that.
And he's having to investigate what happened to him, but obviously all of the other events of the movie are going on as well.
Right. And Anne would probably have, in the wake of her husband's death, enough political clout to move some things around. For a certain period of time, she'd have residual power from her husband after the death, that she could exploit and maybe cause an investigation to be shoved his way.
What we can do is, because movie, we'll just ignore any notion of conflict of interest, because if he's a distant relative...
That's why I was talking about the political power.
Yeah.
That's the sort of thing that might buy your way past that.
Thank you. Yeah. So we are on the same page. Brilliant.
Just so we'll get it out of the way, because nitpicky loreness in my head, are we saying that Richard found something out and got done over?
Yeah.
Either by Damien, or I kind of prefer one of the people around him actually doing something.
Mm-hmm.
And covering it up.
That's how I saw that working. And then with Soylent Green, I just figured if he's, again, Thorn International, so maybe his company was in some way involved, but he never knew what they were involved in. So he was a business partner of the guy who gets murdered at the start. I can't remember his name.
Where is it? Did I write it down? I might. Simonson.
Simonson, that's it, yes.
Yeah, that's right.
Simonson. Yeah, so he's a business associate, or, he's had dealings with Simonson before. So his death, and their companies maybe work together on this, but he doesn't know what it was they were exactly working on.
So it's him sticking his nose into Simonson's death as his, let's say, ex-partner, because that divorces him from the information.
Exactly. He went off and did his own thing.
The only thing I will say is that we'll lose a lot of the street-level stuff because of that. He's a much more powerful man.
Okay, that's true.
I'm not saying that we shouldn't do it, I'm just pointing out ahead of time that we'll start losing that street-level.
Well, I mean, it depends. We will lose some of it, but we can, if we can find a way of having to go down to that level. That's a bit more of an interesting journey arc for him.
Now I think about it, like if he goes to investigate Tab Fielding or any of those guys, that's going to take him back down to the street level, so you can start to show some of that shit off.
Curiously enough, it's almost got like elements of potentially of the game in it. A powerful man having to go.
Ha. I see what you're saying. Yeah. Yes, we can certainly play on this high and mighty man who's not fallen so much as dragged down to the street level because of his desperate need to know what happened, whatever it is. What are we? Yeah, I mean, we can work on that when we get into the episodes.
So I mean, he is
well done. Have a star. You solved both of those.
Fantastic.
Straight away. Like I had no idea how we were going to move ahead with this.
Whew, that's a start. Let's go on to something a bit easier. Let's have a look at acts. The other person, obviously, that's in that I keep forgetting about because she's only in it at the beginning for a bit. Sylvia Sidney plays Aunt Marion. She's
another that person. I saw her in so many things.
Well, I saw her the other day. She's the caseworker in Beetlejuice. Do you know?
Oh, of course she is.
As soon as I see her, it always brings a smile to my face because all I hear in the back of my head is. Grandma from Mars Attacks.
Awesome stuff I just didn't notice. Thank you for pointing that out. Where were we? Acts. Acts. We're talking about acts.
Omen 2.
Omen 2. All right. Yeah.
Now. This is the only one I've had time to check. Oh, so runtime is an hour and 42.
Mm-hmm.
I had two. The first one was when the bully tries to smack Damien outside of the sergeant's office and he throws him against the door.
Yeah, that is a little bit early.
Which is about 28 minutes in. The one that I thought was the death of the reporter, which is about 37 minutes.
Yes.
I think the first one is more of a significant change in the story because it's his first open display of his power. So it's a changing point, but the death of the reporter seems chronologically the best ones.
Also, I mean, obviously, like, with Aunt Marion dies, it's just the crow, and there's no clear indication of the source. And then he starts to display his abilities, and then the crow turns up again, and somebody gets horribly murdered, because Aunt Marion just had a heart attack. With Heart, it's her eyes are plucked out, and she gets brutally run over by a 16-wheeler. So I'm going to go with the death of Heart. The
other one, and again, I must admit, I didn't check the time, but I think it's about right time-wise, is Viserion's death. When they're at they're doing the school tour of the factory.
I had it a little bit later. I had it with the doctor at the hospital.
Yes, that is right in the middle.
Because again, that's another escalation of information.
That makes more sense. Oh, because when I was watching it, because I think I was originally looking for when Richard sees against Wall. But that's far too late. That's not the last 15 minutes of the film.
Yeah, I thought it was earlier than that. I genuinely did. I know it's been a while since I watched the movie, but I was surprised. So that's That's Omen 2.
Yeah, Soylent Green. Again, I haven't had a chance to rewatch it. I think I know when the end of the second act is, but I've got nothing for the first.
It's such a slow burn, this movie.
Yeah.
And there's a lot going on as well. But in my head, it's when Sol and Thorn have that dinner together. And it's immediately after that he starts to realise someone's following him. So it feels like there's an escalation there.
Yeah, no, that does make sense. That's with all the stuff that he's taken from Simonson's, yeah?
We immediately find out, of course, that his boss is now being told to shush it up as well. That's part of that scene. And I was a little bit unsure about Act 3. I had it... There's the bit when he goes back to the flat and then catches Tab and beats the crap out of him and gets him info. And then Sol goes to see, like, the Council of Elders or whatever they were. All the old Jewish people.
Yes.
And again, it just feels like that's the next escalation. Because it's an immediate response to that action that sets the final act in motion.
Just after my one viewing, my immediate thought was Sol going home.
In that scene with the Council of Elders, they tell us without telling us that Sol has just found out what the secret is. Mm-hmm. And his immediate response is to go and commit suicide.
Yeah.
So that feels like that's the escalation right there, isn't it?
Yeah. Lovely. I am happy with that. That's perfect. Right. So I might need some help with this. I've been struggling with names. Mostly because of Soylent Green. Because you can't really take either out, or you take either word out of that to put into the title for a fictitious film. It doesn't work. See... If we change Soylent Green just to the Green, that kind of works. I don't know, because the Green could refer to Soylent Green itself. The Green could refer to money, greed, power. There's symbolism there, possibly.
The thing is if we're leaving the Green as in the title for Soylent Green, we're taking away the Soylent,
which gives a Soylent Omen, which doesn't work.
Yeah, that doesn't really work.
I mean, we could do Green Omen. That would be the only other one that's the one that I came up with of our new version of the Omen.
That could work.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of pants, but if you think about it, it's about a rite of passage coming into new growth.
Oh, that one back.
Oh,
thank you. Yeah.
So I think that works better, and then we get to keep the proper company name.
So just
in
Soylent.
Its proper film, just Soylent.
Soylent 2.
Soylent 2.
It should be Soylent 2, but like, what was it? Teen Wolf 2.
Oh, Soylent 2.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
Which one do you want to do first?
Oh God, they're both going to be messy.
Mm-hmm. I think we want to save Charlton Heston versus the Antichrist.
For last?
For the finale, I think.
So we'll go with Soylent 2?
Soylent 2?
Soylent 2. Okay.
Fantastic. I'm going to say, again, that's a complete aside, I've met Charlton Heston.
Really?
He was, when I was working at Sprashton Manor, he was in Norwich doing a one-man touring show at the Theatre Royal when he stayed at Sprashton Manor.
Ah, what was he like?
It's a really nice man. Yeah.
It's always nice to know that they're not a wanker.
Yeah. So I can say this, I have shaken hands with Charlton Heston.
Oh, you lucky bastard. See, like, my best story from my time being a waiter was I once served Ace from Doctor Who.
Oh, wow.
When they ran a convention at my holiday resort.
Fantastic.
She turned up late, and I was the only, because I'd been on the door being the greeter. I wasn't the only one who wasn't in the middle of clearing all their tables because the dinner service was over. So they went, "Go server!" That's my claim to fame for being a waiter.
Brilliant. So we are set somehow. Expect over the course of the month the occasional.
Damn you, Jen.
Yes, this is all on you. So you better vote. If you don't vote this month,
we totally expect you to vote for this.
Anyway, we are going to jump into this then next week. We'll be back on Wednesday with Act 1 of Soylent 2. Until then, have a wonderful weekend. Have a brilliant start to next week, and we will see you on Wednesday.
As always, guys, TTFN.
Ba 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 ba.